friends, welcome back to Canadian Cutting Edge, and we've got another unboxing for you today. As you saw in the thumbnail, I've got 4 boxes here, all of these nice blue boxes from SRM SRM knives. These are all from their 250 series, 251, 255, 258, and 259. All of these are newer knives, quite new. One of them is only available at SRM Knives website. The other 3 are available both at Blades Canada and at White Mountain Knives, and of course other places as well. And if you're shopping at White Mountain Knives, use code CCE to get 10% off of your purchases. Now, if you're curious about SRM, they're my favorite knife company. SRM Knives is the export brand name for SRM knives. They started off as SRM way back in the 1990s, and I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago or so, I don't remember exactly, they started the SRM branding for knives that they're marketing specifically to other countries. Although you can get SRM branded knives as well. I bought a lot of them early on from stores, Chinese vendors, a lot of which no longer exist or don't sell knives. But you can get them like on AliExpress or whatever. But if you want the ones that are really, really cool, they're bigger ones, these SRM knives, check out SRM Knives and you'll find all kinds of stuff. I don't have a referral link for them. I'll just link directly to them and you can find them there if you're living anywhere in the world. I've seen SRM knives in stores in Australia, just anywhere. Just search your local stores and see if you can find them. If I have any links for any of these from Amazon, probably just Amazon USA or Amazon.com. There's none in the Canadian Amazon. I'll link those there as well to make it easy for you to find these. Now, without any further ado, actually one more further ado, I do have a lot more unboxing videos to send you. These are all going to be locking folders today. I do have some non-locking folders and a little bit other stuff in another unboxing coming soon. And then I've got some really more lower priced knives for an unboxing, all kinds of stuff. I'm finally getting flooded with knives right now, so I'll record a bunch of unboxings, but the reviews will come, as soon as I can do them. Now, without any further ado, come on down to the tabletop and let's take a look at these 4 knives. Okay, we're going to start off with this guy. This is the SRM 251 MB-GB, and there's the other code back there, and I've got some of the information written down right here about this thing. Now, strictly speaking, this isn't exactly my first impressions because, like I just finished saying, they did come to me in 2 pieces. And so I've reinstalled the blades and everything. And this knife is quite cool, but it's not really my personal style. I don't prefer knives that look very much like they're just designed to be weapons. And this is one of those, but this is really cool. There's 2 main colorways. This dark way, this is solid carbon fiber, but it's just like an insert on both sides. And then this gray part is aluminum. Got a crossbar or access lock. We got a wire clip on here, which is a decent wire clip. I quite like it, and it looks pretty good, and I haven't tried putting it in a pocket yet. And a little SRM logo right there. And this part, we've got a knurled, not knurled, we've got like jimping across that edge. And let's see. There we go. Now, I found it worked a whole lot better just for me to use the lock to flip the knife open. My finger doesn't like to get in there and get a lot of grip, but once I get used to it, I can do it no problem. It's just generally, and I tried it a couple times just putting it away for a while as I was assembling it back. I didn't often get it that way, but again, just a little bit of a wrist flick and actuating that lock a little bit, and it was easy to deploy the blade. So yeah, this is a very stabby looking blade. It's only sharp on the edge that my fingernail is tapping right now. It's not sharp on this edge at all, or I wouldn't do this. But, you know, it's clearly a weapon in its design, in its sort of threat profile. I guess threat, it tells you that already. It looks like it's a threatening knife. This doesn't look like it's a knife, you know, for EDC purposes, although you certainly could use it for just about any basic EDC purpose. It just has that look to it. So it's not super my style, but that said, I can tell you what I think of how well it performs and its abilities and stuff. We also have SRM there. We've got a gray titanium coating on this blade. We got the serial number right there in the fuller. So this one's what, number 1513. This is N690 stainless steel. That's Bowler N690. It says so right where my thumbnail is, right up there. And so, you know, they gave it, you know, looking like a fuller on this side as well. We got a little, a sharpener's choil. The fuller's down the middle. A bit of a sharpener's choil there. It's not, well, it's pretty close to perfectly centered and equal on both sides. Now, if you did personally, if you decided to sharpen this side, it's not as thin at the edge on this side as it is over here. So it's thicker there, so you would have a big bevel on there. So it wouldn't look symmetrical, you know, just because of, you know, the reflective secondary bevel or sharpening bevel or apex bevel, whichever one you want to call that, sharpen the last bevel that you sharpen when you sharpen knives. It's going to look differently if you sharpen it there, and you're going to cut your finger on here or your pants or whatever, because that's going to stick out just a little bit. So it's not designed to be, oops, I had it backwards. It's not designed to be a dagger. Also, I was hoping that this pocket clip could go on either side, but it cannot. There's no provision made for the pocket clip to be able to go on that side. And you can't just move this carbon fiber insert over to the other side. You know, they're the same sizes, but this hole for the access bar or crossbar would be down here, and you wouldn't be able to use it. So it is this one side only. But it looks kind of nice. It's light. Let me see. Balance point's way back here, but that's not bad. But you do get, from this jimping on the sides, you get a little bit of extra grip there. I would just be very careful, you know, if I did stab anything with this, because my hand might go over and then I'm going to cut myself on that sharp edge. That being said, this is kind of nice. Like I said, I think there's two main ways. Here's a picture of the other way that this knife comes. And there you go. How much is this? This carbon fiber one is $83.95 American at the SRM Knives website. I'll leave a link for it down below. You can also get it at White Mountain Knives, and they're between $75 to $80 depending on which colorway you get of the two. So it's this or micarta, and I think it's a satin blade on the other one. So that blade's so light, that's part of the reason why it makes it harder to flick out, because you don't get the inertia as well. But I like this. It's got a really nice feel. It's got a slick look. It's just not something that I'm really all that terribly into. That said, SRM 251 MB. All right, what's next? Next, we want to take a look at this knife. This is the SRM 255L. I think this is the dash G, can't read it on there. There it is. GT. 255L GT. And I'm going to move my notes over there. Now, this knife comes in a couple of ways. They've got a second generation version of this knife, if I remember correctly. Again, in this nice pouch. You get that, and it's in a bag. This is a first generation copy of this knife, I think. It doesn't say. There's a serial number there. Model number is right there, nice and small. SRM, stay ready for more there. SRM logo there. Stay ready for more up there. Badging, yeah, but it's not terribly too much badging. Again, we've got a crossbar lock, and this one is 10 Sierra 15 CO MOV stainless steel, which is roughly or quite close to VG10 in its composition. Stonewash finish on this, but these come in a variety of ways. Now, this 10 Sierra 15 CO MOV is the original edition version of the steel. They've got new stuff with 140 CR, and then there's a whole bunch more letters, which is much more of a premium steel. VG10 is still in that, in my books, it's in sort of that mid-range, maybe closer to budget mid-range kind of steel. In the same kind of family as 14C28N, Bowler N690, that kind of stuff. That's what that is. But that 140 CR stuff is more in the middle to premium range of steels, not the super high-end premium range, but in that sort of premium range. That stuff is usually Rockwell 61, maybe 60, 62, in that area. This VG10, it's around 59, 60 as well, or 10 Sierra 15 CO MOV. Pretty good, but this guy right now, on the day I'm recording this, is on sale at SRM Knives for $49.26. Not bad. I like this stonewash finish. We've got G10, we've got a crossbar lock, we've got their thumb stud deployment right there, which I really like. I'm a big fan of thumb stud deployment on knives. It just works really, really well for me, and it's just decent. Now, there's no jimping on the spine, but I don't know why. I just don't miss it on this knife for some reason. Usually I'm a big fan of jimping, but there you go. They've got their little sort of integral crossbar section. When I do the teardowns of these, you'll see that. A couple other knives have that little crossbar insert section, and it makes doing maintenance on these knives much more convenient and less of a problem and less challenging. And there you go. Plus, it makes it a little bit lighter. I don't know if you can see in there right now. There's not a lot of steel there. The steel that you're seeing just in there, that's the pocket clip. And now you don't see any of that steel back there. You've got a post here for a lanyard. You've got two holes, so these go on either side. We've seen these quite a number of times on SRM knives that I've reviewed. And you can put the pocket clip on either side. They hold in well, and they lock up well, and they're functional. These are good. I really like these. Now, I don't want other companies to rip off SRM, but I think a lot more knife companies need to take this and run with it, because those people that don't like pocket clips, and I have some viewers that just don't like pocket clips, look at that. It's got a totally clean look. Two little notches back there, but it's otherwise a very clean look for people that prefer to wear these just in sleeves or just drop them in their pockets. And if you're right or left-handed, either way, the other side is going to be a clean show side, and it's easy to move. It's just a decent pocket clip, and it's deep carry. I'm a big fan of those. Now, you'll find out from here, I think this one's also, are all of these dual row ball bearings? I think at least 3 of these are. Maybe all 4 of these knives that you're going to see have dual row ball bearings. Some of those are ceramic ball bearings, and some of those are steel ball bearings. But the alignment, not perfect, but it's very much down the center, and thin at the edge. A little bit of a chamfer along most of it. Not heavy at all. And the balance point, not bad, not bad. So this is the 255L, 251L, 255L. We've also got 2 more in the 250 range. Just before we go to the next one, I forgot to say, yeah, like I said, those were $49.26 for this white one. Those White Mountain Knives have got these with the 10 CR 15 CO MOV for between $58 and $60. And they've got the new 140 CR steel, which is a really cool laminated steel, and we will see it in this video. I'll show some to you. Those are $80 plus. And these come with G10. You can also get titanium versions. On the SRM Knives website, they've got a beautiful one with titanium, bluish, multicolored titanium finish. Well, it's titanium with a really cool finish. Hopefully I can insert a picture of it. Just awesome looking. And of course, solid carbon fiber as well. So a number of different ways and different finishes on the blades and stuff. Now let's go on to the third one today. This is the 258L. This is also known as the Terrier. So let's open this up. Are there two generations of this one as well? I don't remember. So basic, pretty standard boxing in the same microfiber bag. Check this out. This is a full integral instead of just the short piece. This is also crossbar lock. This is, see that long barrel. Got a lanyard post back here too, just like this one had. This one's got no lanyard option at all. I forgot to point that out for the first one. And this one's got, if it is this one, I think it's this one, has, same kind of pocket clip, but is it this one or is it the other one? Nope. The last one you're going to see has got something even more special about the pocket clip. But so this pocket clip's the same as what you saw here. It goes on either side. Got a little bit of a G10 black spacer back there. This is green micarta. Comes a couple of other ways. $64.95 at SRM Knives. Same price at White Mountain Knives. By the way, at White Mountain Knives, you save 10% with code CCE. We've also got thumb studs deploying this. And this model number is the 258L MG2. And there's a number of other models as well. So let's deploy this blade and see how it looks. Now this is a bigger knife. Look at that. Look at that finish right there. This is that 1040 CR steel, and it's a laminate steel. And I'm looking it up, and I've written them to ask them more details. They've got a web page that describes their 1040 CR steel. I'll leave a link to that down below in the video description, hopefully in the comments as well. It's sort of like a San Mai construction. There is a core steel, and then there's other steel laminated on either side. It looks like they might be doing a molten laminate, when it's in that kind of stage, instead of, just sort of pressure welding it. Well, of course, with flux and everything, doing it properly, sort of like the way you do Damascus, but just sort of 3 layers, a core layer, then 1 layer on each side. It looks like this is some kind of laminate, molten laminate system. I'm not sure. I really want to know more about it. But they're saying that it's almost up to S35VN kind of steel. It's not quite as good as S35, but it's close to S35. So that's their claims. I don't know. I haven't tested it yet, haven't used it, and I don't have an awful lot of experience with S35 because on this channel, I generally review budget knives, but at $65 US, this is still within the category of what I normally review. And so something that's close to S35VN for 65 US bucks, it's worth checking out in my opinion, and I really am going to check it out in more detail. Other than that, the badging's very much the same. We've got a serial number down here. This one's number 152. I'm just looking at the last digits. The first sets of digits are more, having to do with, the model and stuff. And a little bit of jimping here, rounded spine, and, decent hand feel. I wouldn't mind if that jimping would be a little more aggressive, probably, but we'll see when I actually use it. Not very heavy. It's a fairly light knife, especially for its size. There's the balance point right there. We've got a bit of a cove milled here and a cove milled there, and it is sort of rounded, so it's definitely 3D milled and not just flat slab micarta. And we've got the, full, like I said, the integral goes all the way back instead of, the short thing that we have in here. So it's a little bit more weight because of that, but not bad. And look at this drop point with the swedge, and it looks like a hamon on there, but if it's constructed the way they say, that's not really a hamon. It's two different types of steel, you know, with the core steel being, you know, the stuff that you sharpen, the really center stuff. And this is probably a softer steel, but it's got a really cool look to it without being in your face. Like a lot of Damascus these days is so dramatic. I'm not really a fan of that for pocket knives. I like really beautiful kitchen knives that have Damascus and you know, just a really beautiful finish on them, pattern and stuff. But this just, it just looks so classy to me. And the micarta feels quite good in hand. And blade alignment, very nice. And it's a bigger knife. Now look at these, I'm gonna line these up more with the tips basically in line. You know, each knife of these is getting bigger than the rest. How about the last one? This is the 259L, and the colorway is the AK. And of course the serial number is right there as well on the box. So, you know, this is just a model kind of sticker, but yeah, you get your serial number individual sticker on each box. And let's open this up. This one is unique. Like there's some unique construction in here, and when I do the teardown, you might be surprised. But this one, this knife really surprised me. The construction of it, I've not seen anything like it before. It's got a very unique way of being built and put together. There's even an O-ring inside there, and you know, this one's got an O-ring which San Remo has done before, just under the head of the pivot screw as it screws down. It instead of Loctite, that O-ring creates friction, so it stops it from loosening up without needing to put thread locker in there. But this is something different. Like, this is totally unique. I've never seen it before, and I'm impressed with it. But it's got that same steel insert section for the crossbar lock. Then we got a chunk of aluminum that makes up the handle scale and the back spacer here. And this is ebony. You can also get it with rosewood inserts, but this is wood. It's an ebony finish. I'm a big fan of wood. The one with the rosewood is a green, like a forest green kind of finish on the aluminum with rosewood. A really classy look, but I think I like this look better. Now, like I was saying, this is the fourth knife. This one's got something really special with the pocket clip that I'm going to tell you right now. You've got your deep carry, decent sized clip, but it's got two positions. So if you want extremely deep, and it's still holding just as well as any of those did, it's fixed on there. So you can have a really deep carry if you want, or just a standard depth. See, we've got two sets of notches on there instead of just the one that these other ones have. And so I've not seen that before. And again, both sides. You can put it in either side, whichever way you want, and have the clip there or full depth. And you guys are saying, show us the blade already. Okay, these are all thumb stud. No, this guy's not thumb stud. These are thumb stud knives. Check out that. That's what a lot of people call reverse tanto. I call it a K-tip. And this one, even with its dramatic angle, you know, it might not even be. I think they call it a reverse tanto, but there you go. Beautiful blade shape. Not an awful lot of belly, but a little bit of belly all the way across. Full flat grind. And the steel on this guy is 14C28N. At the SRM Knives website, this is $75. And I didn't find it anywhere else. I think this is just called the metal. At least that's what they got the name on their website for this. Lanyard pin back here. Sort of a gold, brassy, bronzy finish on that pin there for your lanyard. And, you know, inside, nice and hidden. And this nice gray finish on the aluminum. A little bit of jimping there for the finger. And a little bit of jimping up here. Feels decent in the hand, and this is light. Aluminum's always quite light. Well, not always, but it's usually quite light. There's the balance point on this, and the actuation, not hard at all for one finger, and blade alignment, very nicely done. And thin behind the grind. I really am a big fan of 14C28N, and says so right there behind the thumb stud, and there's the model number. Ends in 1062, which is, where did I put that knife box? Is this the 215? There it is. Ends in 1062. Whoop. Right there, ends in 1062. So yeah, I like that they do serial numbers on these. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful knife. I'll probably be keeping this one. I just like it so much. I like the wood and the aluminum finish, and it's a beautiful knife. And this is just so interesting to me that they, of course, it makes complete sense. If it works with one notch, why can't you do it with two? Let's just take a look. Take that all the way out. I should probably close this. I'm risking cutting myself. Yeah, they're very much the same size. Not exactly, they're not identical. As you can see, this one with the two notches, it's got a longer stem there, but very nicely done. I like that. I like that a lot. So there you go. These are the 4 knives from San Remo that I will be reviewing in the short term. It shouldn't take me too terribly long. Now, you can see from my fingers that it does take pressure to put it. These aren't going to accidentally come out. I've had, I don't know, 7 or 8 knives from San Remo that have this style pocket clip. I've had 0 problems with any of them. So don't let that be your concern to keep you from this knife, or this one for that matter. And wow, this is a beautiful knife in my opinion. It just is. Now let's move these to the middle here so you can take another close look at them. Like I said, there's lots of different ways for this one, lots of different types of finishes. This one's just in aluminum. This one's got, oh, I didn't write it down. This one in Canada has an older version with D2 for $59, $60, a couple different colorways. And of course, White Mountain Knives has them as well. And the 10CR40 steel is $83 at Blades Canada. 83 Canadian dollars with a steel that's, you know, more in the premium range than the mid-grade range, or right at that premium mid, you know, sort of range level. 83 Canadian shekels for that. That's not bad at all. And so check that out, or go to White Mountain Knives if you're in the United States and you want to get this, or if you are, you know, anywhere around the world, check out the SRM Knives website for these. Now, this is the Terrier. This is the metal. I don't think these two have a name. So which one of these are you most interested in? Which one do you want me to review ASAP? And which one of these do you want to come to my house and steal from me? From my first impressions, which one do I like most? Well, I thought that was probably pretty obvious. I wouldn't mind this guy with the 10CR40 steel, and 10CR40, the 140 CR steel, but I've got so much experience with 14C28N, and I really like it. This knife is just, it ticks a lot of little boxes for me. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the crossbar lock, but the crossbar lock has technical advantages as well. Ambidextrousness, ambidextrosity. And I don't mind the crossbar lock. I'm just an old school liner lock guy for the most part. But I'm starting to ramble. Hope you guys are having a great end of year. It's been a good year. Hopefully I'll see you a whole lot more before Christmas. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.